So I took a short setup on AUDUSD and I'm going to break it down step by step from the weekly time frame all the way down to the 4-hour time frame where I took my entry. So I'm going to be explaining why I took this setup based on the technicals and also how I managed risk during the trade and why. So let's start off from the weekly time frame here. And as you can see, we are first of all weekly bearish, meaning in the long term we could see downside. We already after the break of structure got the pullback towards the premium prices, so prices are now expensive enough to again push down lower. We also took some liquidity at around those premium prices, and after that liquidity grab we got an order flow change here on the weekly. The weekly fractal turned bearish as well as the order flow, creating this supply where I was expecting to trade down lower from to take out all of those lows. So going over to the daily time frame then, is this also valid on the daily? Well, let's see. So first of all, you're daily bullish and that is not a good thing. But overall, you got the move up and you know that we just don't move up higher and higher and higher. We move kind of like a staircase and we still need to see the pullback before we can move up higher again based on the daily swing structure. So it is okay to still look for downside because we tapped a supply zone, grab liquidity, and after that happened we then changed the order flow bearish at this low, creating this supply zone where from that supply I was then looking to trade down lower towards that liquidity low, the discount prices, and that yearly level which acts like a magnet. Then I went over to the 4-hour, knowing that on the weekly and daily we could trade down lower, and then I saw that we were 4-hour bearish. We're 4-hour bearish with 4-hour premium prices that we tapped with this pullback, and then after we tapped those premium prices I was looking to short. I saw that we had this supply zone, we also had this liquidity that we took out above these highs, and then what happened is I got into the market over here. Now what was my entry? Well, after tapping this supply we saw an initial reaction of the market, and of course those are always going to be early sellers, so we swipe those early sellers. Then what happens, we break in towards the downside, making this a strong high where I want to put my stop loss above. I enter off of that fractal break immediately, being in the trade right after the break, and I just target a 3 risk reward because there's enough room to trade down lower until all of these lows. So based on that, I was already looking over here to take some short setups. So we grab liquidity, and then we got the fractal break in towards the downside over here. So why didn't I enter already at this price point? Well, because there was still a supply over here, so I couldn't check off supply of my checklist. So keep that in mind that you don't want to be greedy, you always want to be patient to check off your checklist before you are going to go ahead and take this A+ setup. So this also was why I took the trade based on the weekly and the 4-hour, going over all the technicals. It is literally a textbook A+ setup, so make sure that you study and understand this kind of setup. So how did I manage my risk here during this trade? What did I do? I basically just set a trade, always 3 risk reward, and I set and forget this one. Why do I set and forget? Well, because if I'm in the trade, I might make emotional decisions, and that's not what I want, because that is just not consistent. In the long term, I might make different decisions during the trade, taking partials here and on another trade not taking partials or something like that, or putting my trade on break even and then hitting break even and not my take profit. So all those kind of things, I just want to delete out of my mind, make it simple, just set the trade, set the entry, set the stop loss, and set the take profit, and I just let it run. And as you can see, this time it paid off for a nice take profit. So I hope you learned something. If there are any questions even after multiple time watching this video, make sure to comment it down below and I will make sure to add it in my next video. See you, bye.